Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Tales of the Past. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Even if you don't like and subscribe, hey, just watch the videos, learn something. If you're in school, hope it helps you. And let's get it. This is episode 2. We're going to talk about Mansa Musa. Now, Mansa Musa, he was an emperor born in 1280 AD. He was the richest man in the world, commonly known, and he ruled the Malian Empire. Now, I can't really talk about how he began without talking about Mansa Muhammad. Now, Mansa is the title given or bestowed upon the emperor of the Malian Empire of this time period. And Mansa Muhammad ended up giving Mansa Musa like as interim leader, as he wanted to take a voyage and explore other worlds. So he took like a fleet. He had a fleet go out first, and the fleet never returned. So he was like, either somebody's lying or you weren't doing it right. So he decided to head a fleet himself, and he left Mansa Musa in charge while he went out to go, basically explore new trade options, expand the empire, and do things of that nature. But he never returned. He got lost at sea. All right, so with Mansa Muhammad seemingly never coming back, basically Mansa Musa had to take over. So he took over and he had a different strategy, because the previous Mansas before him, they ruled with an iron fist. But Mansa was like, or Mansa Musa, let me just start calling him Musa for clarification purposes. So Musa was like, you know what? This isn't very, effective. Like, you got to show people love, show them, give them credit where credit's due. So there were like, for example, he started giving out awards and just credit to his emirs. Now, emirs are governors, and the Mali Empire had 14 provinces at this time, and each emir was basically responsible for controlling that territory. So what he did is he ended up giving them credit and stuff like that. And as he gave them credit, what it did in turn was created loyalty system to him, to which they're like, okay, cool, you know what, I actually like the guy that I serve under. He also was known for plucking people from lowly birth or, bad circumstances and putting them in positions of power, which also created a loyalty and a bond to him. So pretty much whenever he decreed anything or wanted anything done, he really was met with very little resistance.
Your diligence brings great honor to Mali. Your work is indeed commendable.
Now, Musa wasn't a pushover either. He also knew it's like, okay, boom, it's time where I got to roll with an iron fist, and then there's times where diplomacy is the best option. One of like the best examples of his diplomacy was that he was a devout server of Allah. Like, he was a Muslim, and he felt like everybody in his provinces needed to be Muslim as well. So he tried to force them into doing it, but his gold miners, which is where most of their wealth came from, and like all of pretty much his funds, let's just say, he tried to tell them, and most of the miners were pagan. So they striked against him and was like, okay, well, if you're really going to push this issue, then we're not mining gold for you anymore. So, of course, he don't want his money going, but he also didn't want the issue going further than it was. So he decreed, you know what, you're right, believe what you want to believe in. I do think my option is best, but, keep going. But on the other hand, there also had been very much issues with they trade. So they had all these like secret trade routes and stuff like that. And in the trade routes, bandits were pretty much an issue. So what Mansa did is he dealt with these like bandits swiftly, very efficiently. He actually was known to have the third largest army of that time. He had over like 100,000 soldiers. So another thing that kept like their trade routes peaceful is that, one, they kept all of their mines secret. Like, if you knew where the mines were, you would never deal with anybody in the trade system or like vendors by yourself. Like, there would always be a middleman. The miners would give it to the middleman would then give it to them to keep the location secret. And then they also had secret trails. So most people didn't even know where their trade routes were. of course, like with the desert, and then they would use drums as secret messages to communicate with, the other people that they're trading with. Despite that, also getting rid of the bandits, they also Mali has three rivers that runs through its territories and stuff like that. They would actually trade through rivers. So you had peace, and because of the river system, they were able to trade faster, trade goods, while also collecting taxes from the people very fast and efficiently. So Musa, being the great Muslim he is, his country is prospering. He's going very crazy. It's like, all right, cool. Now it's time for me to take a trip to Mecca. I haven't been to Mecca yet, and any Muslim, if they have the means to make it, they have to take a trip to Mecca. So he goes, he gets 60,000 of his, people, like either soldiers, men, women, children, to accompany him on this journey. But it's long and it's perilous because he has to do it by foot. One of the most interesting stops on his journey, he actually goes to Cairo. And as he goes to Cairo, the people are amazed. They never seen anything like it. The amount of people, the gold that he had, he's dripped out. Like, it looks like something out of, I guess, their dreams, their fairy tales. So the Sultan goes and he meets him and he's like, hey, also per tradition, the Sultan's like, people would kiss my hand or kiss the ground I walk on out of respect. And Musa's like, oh man, nah, I'm a king too, bro. Like, what you talking about? So he's like, well, fight almost broke out because the Sultan took it as respect. But Musa, being the diplomat that he is, he was like, you know what? Nah, how about this? He said, I don't revere anyone but Allah. I will kiss the ground and I'll praise Allah. How about that? And then the Sultan was like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. So they actually, Musa and his, I say compadres, they stayed in Cairo for 3 months. Now, one thing that Musa did a lot was like give people gifts, shower them gifts. He had so much gold, it was crazy. So they stayed, they had a good time, they learned from each other. And by the time they left, he left them so much gold that it actually dropped the gold prices in their town. And it actually kind of created economic problems in Cairo. So, when Musa heard about what happened and stuff, he actually bought the gold back. Like, imagine buying your own gold back. So he bought his own gold back from the people, and then they left and went about their day. So as Musa and his company finally making the Mecca, they have a great time. Musa strapped down into white garments, and you wear that basically to show that everybody's on an equal playing field. So at this point, he's not an emperor. He's just a Muslim enjoying his culture and being around people with like-minded ideas. It's very peaceful until about day 9, where a fight almost broke up, and Musa, being the diplomat he broke it up immediately. He was like, yeah, no, this isn't happening. This is not what we're here for. We're better than this.
Enough!
So upon returning back to the Malian Empire, things were just on the up and up for Musa. His generals conquered more land, so he was going back to more, territories, had over 400 cities, and really just experienced like a period of peace like no other. So instead, he decided to dive more in education. He met philosophers and people while he was out that he brought back, and he ended up also creating a university called the University of Sankore, and everyone is invited. You had, Malians, other Africans, Europeans, and basically he became the forefront of kind of Islamic culture or ideologies.
For knowledge to flourish, Sankore must rise.
Things were going so great, in fact, that Musa actually thought about abdicating the throne to his son. But he saw that his son wasn't ready to rule, and I think some conflict broke out that he had to handle, and he said, you know what, Malian Empire needs me more than I want to just go to Mecca and live my best life. So he ended up staying, and during the time he stayed, he just really focused on education. One of the funniest stories to me too is like dealing with other countries, like, word spread about how like famous he was, how popular he was, and a lot of people wanted to know like, hey, where are you getting your gold from? Where is it at? And he would often tell people like, hey, our gold comes from flowers, and we have these special like growers who have magic, and basically, if anyone outside of these special growers touch it, the flowers will wilt and we'll have no gold. Now, I don't know if people believed it. It was just like, okay, but I just felt like that's a funny story. He was like, no, we're keeping our money secret. It's our money, and cool, I'll share it if I want to share it, but other than that, you will not get a part of it. So Musa died in 1337 around the age of 57 and is widely renowned or known as the richest man to ever have lived. I hope you've learned something from this, and like I said, please like, subscribe, and boom, I'll see you next time.
Come take a trip with me, explore and you will see. It is no mystery, it's tales from history.